Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. So, tonight I want to talk about something that I think more and more people are beginning to notice, but a lot of people are still uncomfortable saying out loud. The question is, what if the healthcare system is really good at managing symptoms, but not very good at restoring health? So before anybody gets nervous, let me just say this up front. I'm not anti-doctor. This is not an anti-doctor show. This show is not anti-medicine, and it's definitely not me telling anybody to stop taking medication. But I do think that people are waking up to the fact that something is wrong. Because if we're honest, we're living in a time where there are more medications than ever, more specialists than ever, more healthcare technology than ever, and yet people are sicker than ever, right? And everybody's sick. We all sick. The kids are sick, and all the way from the babies to the elderly, we are sick, right? People are struggling with a lot of different health conditions, including obesity, diabetes, chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions, anxiety, which was my thing, depression, infertility, digestive problems, inflammation, high blood pressure, sleep issues. The list goes on and on. I do not think this is normal though, right? I think what has happened is that we have literally normalized dysfunction. So, for those who may not know me, my name is Robyn Herron, and I am your carnivorous grandma. I'm certified in nutrition in the standard American diet, which I do not recommend. I'm also a KILTS certified health coach. Of course, I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not a medical practitioner. So, this show is for educational and informational purposes only. I wanna mention my good friend G Brown, who I know y'all looking for her, y'all, but she ain't gonna be back for 2 more weeks. She is cruising. She is cruising. She's living her best life and having a wonderful time on the cruise. Last I knew, she was in France, so she had been in Italy and Portugal, and then the last I heard was France. So she's having a great time and also achieving her goals. And I'll let her tell you more about that when she gets back in a couple of weeks. But I wanted to talk about this tonight. We're talking about, issues that we have. So for myself, I personally struggled with obesity all of my life. I started dieting at age 11. Oh, by the way, welcome to Hey Sister Girl. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. I see Tara here. Hi, Tara. So glad that you're here. And then Linda, I'm so excited to see you at Impact this summer, Labor Day weekend. We're going to talk about it at the end of the show. So I'm super excited to meet you and give you a great big hug at Impact. All right. So, yeah, I struggled, right? Uh, Chronic eczema. I'll show you a picture real quick of what my eczema used to look like. Let's see, I got so many pictures that it's like, what? Yeah, I had 2 black eyes and I had this dark circle around my mouth. I had eczema breakouts all over. It was really, really nasty. It was not fun. And, I did all the creams, ointments, treatments, everything, right? I had IBS, struggled with, if you don't know what IBS, it's irritable bowel syndrome, and it manifests itself or can manifest itself in a variety of different ways. I had chronic inflammation. It was getting to the point where, like one day my shoulder I just could not lift my arm. Crazy, could not lift my arm. And, just inflammation, all over inflammation. And I had debilitating anxiety, like so, so bad. I was getting to the point where I was not able to leave my house. I had to go on medication for it. So tonight we're talking about prescription medication. I had racing thoughts and I had complete food obsession. So after years of trying to manage those symptoms, I finally realized that nobody was asking me why was this happening, right? Stuff is happening to you. Hey, mom. Stuff is happening to you in your body. You're struggling with all these different chronic disease states, and no one ever asks the real root cause question of why is your body reacting this way? So, thinking about that changed everything for me. I think one of the biggest problems in modern healthcare is that the system becomes the entire focus. I'm sorry, the symptoms become the entire focus, right? So you go into your doctor, you have a symptom, you get a medication. Sometimes that medication creates another symptom, creates another. Y'all hear them on the TV talking about those symptoms, how they have to read them so fast, so you can't even hear what they're saying because they're reading through that list of symptoms that could be possible side effects of the medication, right? So the medication creates another issue. Then you add another medication. Before long, you're managing a growing list of symptoms without ever addressing the root cause of the problem. So let me just be balanced here. I want to make sure that we're thinking, that the reality is real, right? So there are certainly and absolutely situation where a medication is necessary. So if I'm having a medical emergency, I want a doctor. I want the ambulance to come and take care of me. I want to go to the hospital. I want an intervention. So modern medicine is incredible in emergency care. If you broke your leg, you need somebody to set that leg, right? But chronic disease is different because a lot of chronic illness today is connected to lifestyle. And I don't know if anybody's telling you this besides me and G over here on Hey Sister Girl, trying to tell you guys all the time that it's a lifestyle problem, it's a metabolism problem, right? So we're really never being taught how insulin works in the body. And so that's why we talk about it on this show every week, right? We talk about how these mechanisms work in the body and, how processed foods impact your body. How does inflammation actually develop? How does your sleep affect your hormones? How does stress affect your nervous system? And how addictive modern food has become. Y'all talk about cravings. I know you know about them. That's because our food is highly addictive. So instead of talking to us about all those things, people are talking about here's your diagnosis, here's your prescription. Come back in 6 months, get another prescription. And so I want you to know and think about the fact of how this cycle just continues and continues. At some point, we have to ask, why are we getting sicker despite all of this advancement? And that is a super fair question, right? So, one of the things that I had to learn on my own journey was that my body was not betraying me. Hmm. We think that our bodies are like acting up on us, is betraying us. But what's happening is that your body is responding to what you're consistently giving it, right? And we always talk about on here that food is information. Food is information. So, body responds to exactly what you put in. So, let's think about modern life for a second. Most of us are under chronic stress. I don't know about y'all. I got this new job, y'all. It's highly stressful. Highly stressful, but we're under chronic stress. We're in a constant situation of fight or flight. We're eating a lot of ultra processed foods. What I'm talking about is all those bags and boxes. When you look at the box, you can't even read through the list of ingredients because you can't pronounce them. It's ultra processed and literally designed to be addictive, right? We're sleeping poorly. Is anybody out there, like, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're actually getting good sleep. That's not my story, but if you're getting good sleep, give me a thumbs up. So most of us are sleeping poorly. We're, on these devices all the time. We got all this blue light in our eyes. We're not getting sunshine. We're not getting our feet on the ground, all of those kinds of things. So it's causing our sleep to be off. We're constantly snacking because why? Because We're constantly hungry because we're eating too many carbohydrates. We're overstimulated, we're sedentary. I noticed since I got this new job that I am literally sitting hours and hours a day where I was getting 14,400 steps in a day. I'm maybe getting 1,500, 3,000 steps a day. That is absolute insanity. We have to be intentional about getting our movement. And the other thing is that we're living in survival mode. So, why would we expect our body to thrive under these conditions? We do not expect it to. And I mean, we can expect it to, but it's going to struggle, right? And when the body begins struggling, we be shocked. Like, what in the world is happening here? Oh, I'm having diseases of aging. I'm getting older. I can tell you now that I'm turning 60 in July, and I feel better today than I did when I was 40. So it's not diseases of aging. Our body is communicating by exhibiting all of these signals, right? These symptoms that we're having. Does that mean that every condition is reversible? I don't know about that. You know, I think that Dr. Berry, so I interviewed Dr. Berry on my channel and I asked him, is there any condition that a animal-based, sugar-free lifestyle cannot reverse or heal or touch? And he said, "Well, if you broke your leg, if you got your leg cut off, amputated, it might not be able to help that." So I think it helps so many things, so many things. Maybe not everything, but it might help most things, right? And am I telling you to throw away your medication? Absolutely not. Do not go to your doctor and tell them that I told you not to take medication. I did not say that. I did not say that. But I do believe that, many people are literally more metabolically unhealthy than they realize. It's a metabolic issue. And I think that many people underestimate how much our lifestyles affect our bodies. Okay. So 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, on February 22nd, 2023, I started a carnivore lifestyle. Let me tell you what I mean when I say a carnivore lifestyle: sugar free, animal based, very, very little plants. So I'll tell you the types of plants that I allow in. I have coffee, which I probably should and maybe will eliminate. I've tried it a couple of times. I eliminated it for a whole year. It didn't really seem to make that much of a difference for me, so I was okay with that. I brought it back in, and eggs, and I have Redmond's real seasoned salt. Sometimes maybe a little bit of garlic powder. So those are all the plants that I allow in. I don't eat any like fruits, no vegetables. Yes, no vegetables. Interestingly and crazy. Let me tell you what happened to me when I did that, because I did not realize how much the food was affecting me until I changed it. So my eczema went away. Y'all can see my face, right? Uh-huh. That no makeup except I got a little bit of lipstick on. No makeup. That eczema, that inflammation that I had all over my face was a signal. My body was signaling something, right? Something is wrong here. And so that eczema cleared up. I had really bad hand eczema. Let me see if I can show you guys a picture of my hand eczema. It was so bad. My hands and feet, my hands basically would blister up and the skin would come off, and I lost my fingerprints. At least they became muted. It was really, really nasty, right? Bad, bad eczema. I used to go and get shots in my fingers, to like steroid shots, cortisone shots into my fingers because I had all these blisters on my hands. It was terrible and it was debilitating. Like, you couldn't touch anything. I couldn't touch anything because basically I didn't want to get an infection. And I had all kinds of infections in in my hands and in my skin because my body was saying, "What the heck are you doing? It's too much sugar." Right? So my eczema improved. I mean, literally went away. My IBS improved. Day 31 of being on carnivore, my IBS resolved itself. Inflammation reduced. Anxiety went way, way down. Racing thoughts. All of a sudden, I realized, oh my gosh, I have this overall sense of well being. Like, I feel really good. I mean, it was just like a moment in time where I was like, man, I feel amazing. My mind is not racing. I'm not obsessing over food. I'm not afraid of everything. I'm able to go outside of my house and still function in real life. So those racing thoughts calm down. I'm telling y'all, I used to tell my people, like, do not make my phone ring. Don't make my phone ring because if you call me, I'm going to be sure something terrible happened. So, that went away. And then my blood pressure normalized. I had been on hypertension medication, cured that hypertension with a ketogenic diet. And one other thing I'll mention is that my seasonal allergies went away. This I did not even realize was possible. Seasonal allergies I've had since I was an infant. And so, yeah, so that was a big one. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That first springtime. And even now, as the trees are doing their thing, normally I would wake up with my eyes nearly closed, like two swollen eyes with all that goopy stuff in the inside because of the trees doing their thing and the grass is doing their thing. And so I'm not dealing with that anymore right now. So that was a real game changer for me. So am I saying that carnivore is magic? Well, not exactly. I'm not exactly saying it's magic, but it sometimes can seem a little magical. But what I'm saying is when I removed all that metabolic stress from my body responded. It turns out that food was the problem all along. And that experience really forced me to rethink about what health really is. Like, what really is health, right? So, I want to talk a little bit about the business side of chronic illness because there is big business in people being sick, if you didn't know that. It makes people uncomfortable, but we still need to talk about it because there's so many billions and billions of dollars to be made and connected to chronic illness, right? So I want you to think about it. You got medications, you got repeat appointments, you got treatments, procedures, subscriptions, specialty care, and ongoing management of chronic illness. Chronic disease care has become and is big business. It's an industry. So, am I saying that every doctor has bad intentions? I don't think they do. I think most doctors go into medicine with the idea of being a healer, right? And I hear Dr. Tony Hampton all the time talking about the change that happened when he went into metabolic health and how he was able to become, instead of a drug dealer, basically, a healer. And so I think that most medical professionals go into the field because they want to help people, they want to heal people, right? And so what we have here is is a system that matters. When an entire system is built around managing disease, you can end up with a culture where restoration and healing is not the primary focus, right? So I think people feel trapped. We feel tired. We're always inflamed. We're always struggling. We're dependent. We're always restarting. And we lose hope because we think that this decline is unavoidable. Again, diseases of aging, right? So what we need to understand, and what I want people to understand is that you have more influence over your own health than you may realize. Yes, you have more control over your health than you realize. You go to the doctor, and the doctor tells you do X, Y, and Z, and you're willing to do it, but is it healing you? And the craziest thing is that your body is literally designed to heal. I have a question here. Can carnivore diet get rid of hot flashes? I cannot answer that question, whether it gets rid of hot flashes. I know that I have seen people who have had changes in their menopause symptoms based on removing sugar from their diet. And so, yes, I would say that it could probably influence your hot flashes. But like I said, I'm not a medical professional, and I would have to do a little bit more research on that particular question. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing that carnivore is helping with a lot of different things, right? And so, and that's my mom. So I'm really hoping that carnivore does help with hot flashes because my mom is, what are you, 75? Still having hot flashes. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. I don't even want to be thinking about that. Okay. So, how do we start getting out of this web, right? We've been talking about the web for several weeks now. How do we start to change it? And mom is 77, y'all. 77, still having hot flash. Mom, take the sugar out of your diet. It's going to make a difference for you. So the question becomes, how do we start changing it? And honestly, I really think it starts with simplicity, right? Awareness. And that's why we have this show, Hey Sister Girl. We're here to bring awareness, to shine light on these systems and help us to see that there are alternative ways of doing things, right? So we need to start asking questions. We need to stop just accepting everything that we are told, right? Not just what medication do I need, but why is this happening? What is the root cause of it? Is there any role that food plays? Now, I will tell you that I went to the dermatologist with my eczema. I showed y'all the picture. Let me put it back up here for a second. With my eczema, I went to the dermatologist and they told me this is not food related. There is nothing you can do but take these creams and ointments, get a little sunshine, go and stay in the tanning bed, get a tan. And, being in the sun really helped it. I went to Jamaica one year and that really helped it a lot being, close to the sun. But what role does food play? And I can promise you, food does play a role, whether your doctor is understanding that or knowing that or not. Food does play a role. What role does insulin play? If you're having a lot of sugar, and we know, and I'm going to just say it one more time because we do have to keep on repeating things, and that is that your body can only handle 1 teaspoon of added sugar, 1 teaspoon for carbohydrates, right? Otherwise, insulin starts coming into play and it starts chasing and it starts increasing your insulin resistance. So, what role does insulin play? What role does stress play? Are you always stressed out? Like I said, I started a new job, it's super stressful. And so, how do I have that self-care to take care of myself and make sure that I am getting my stress levels down? And then another really big factor is what role does sleep play? Sleep is huge. If you are not sleeping well, your body is not getting enough time to do restoration. So, all those phases of sleep and stages of sleep that we go through, your body is doing different stuff, right? It's restoring you, and so we want to make sure that we're getting enough good quality sleep, right? So, I'm gonna just put up Tara's statement here. It says, carnivore can diminish them a lot. I notice that when I eat anything other than meat with no sugar anywhere, they go away. So I think that sugar plays a big factor in hot flashes for sure. All right. So the another thing that we need to think about is the fact that we need to reduce obvious metabolic stressors, right? So what does that mean? That means that we're going to eat less processed food, a lot less, and we're going to completely eliminate packaged, processed, ultra processed foods, right? We're going to reduce or eliminate sugar. We're gonna snack less, so we need to spend less time eating and more time allowing our insulin levels to come down, right? And so the third thing is gonna be that we're gonna eat real food. So I remember when I was on keto, one of the kind of ideas was that you would shop around the perimeter of the store. So for me today, all my shopping is pretty much done in the meat department. But if you're a ketovore or a keto person, then you want to shop and eat whole, real food, right? Not something that comes out of a package that has 100 ingredients that you can't even read what it says. If I look at my meat, it says beef, it says chicken, it says pork. You know what I'm saying? So, whole, real food. So for me, that means focusing on an animal based way of eating. And it also does mean elimination of most dairy for me because dairy was problematic for my skin and is problematic for my skin. So primarily animal based, meaning that I eat meat, no plants, no fruits, no vegetables, no packaged processed foods. So your starting point might be like removing soda, removing sugar, obvious sugar, like all those cakes, cookies, pies, candies, removing that, removing the processed food, removing the seed oil. Seed oils is toxic, right? So, I'm on one end of the spectrum. I'm eating only meat. You might want to start out with a keto, or you might want to start out with a carnivore, but either way it goes, eating real food is what matters, right? And then that fourth thing is going to be about sleep. We need to recognize that sleep matters more than we think. You need to get that restorative time. You cannot heal properly while chronically sleep deprived. That's on period. And then the fifth thing is movement. Like, are you getting that walk in? Like I said, I'm sedentary right now. I'm doing this new job. I'm standing at the desk, got back to back to back to back meetings. I'm like, okay, so can I take a meeting on my phone and just go outside and walk? Today I had an opportunity to go outside and walk. It's a beautiful day, and I'm happy that I was able to go outside because you got to get that movement in. It's one of the most underrated tools, health tools that we have, walking. So you don't necessarily have to destroy yourself in the gym to improve your health, but consistent walking matters more than intensity, right? And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about community because healing is hard in isolation. And so that's why support matters so much. So, tonight's conversation is not about fear of taking medications or fear of the system of prescriptions. It's about raising your awareness to the fact that you need to be more you need to be more curious about what it is that you're putting into your body. You need to be more curious about why these different conditions are happening. What is the root cause, right? Um, and so you deserve to know, right? Because our bodies are literally designed to heal. So incredibly, literally designed to heal. The body's responsive when we stop overwhelming it with all of the crap that we've been eating, right? Most of us have never even really experienced what it feels like to take that metabolic burden off. I've been doing this for over 3 years now, and it is so simple, so easy, and such a game changer. So, yeah. So do you wanna feel what it feels like to be in health? Be in health. Yes, that's what I hope for you. All right. So if this conversation resonated with you tonight, I wanna invite you into our Hey Sister Girl community. And we have a free Hey Sister Girl Facebook group where we continue these conversations around healing, lifestyle change, mindset, and metabolic health. And then we also have a Marco Polo community. You can find the link to this down in the description box. Marco Polo is an interactive space. It is real time, 24 by 7 access. And so we walk through struggles, victories. We have meal ideas. We talk about consistency and emotional eating, all the different things, and focus on our everyday lives and living this carnivore lifestyle. So, yeah, sometimes people need somebody to just say, keep going. And then the other thing that I have to offer you is coaching. So, if you really want somebody To hold your hand and walk with you through this journey, CG Health Coaching would be the place for you to be. I've got another coach that's with me. His name is Sherrod Brown, and we are excited and enthusiastic. So you can check out all that information about health coaching in the description box. If you're interested in more of a technology-based type of coaching, G Brown has her coaching practice as well. You can find her coaching on gbrown.com. All right. Last thing, I want to just talk about impact. So let me bring up, oh, do I have my updated slide? I hope so. Yes. Here it is. Impact Meet Up and Eat Up with Carnivorous Grandma and Friends is going to be held on September 5th, 2026, right here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Starting at 11 o'clock a.m., the doors will open. We've got Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Nelson and Nurse Laura. We've got Ariana Herron, who's a physician's assistant. We got Coach Sherrod. We got Meet Julia. We got a whole bunch of influencers are coming in. So come in and meet your favorite influencer. And I'm so excited. So excited to mention that we will be showing the Healing Humanity documentary at Impact this year. So Carrie and I think Jen has decided to come, and Emma, they're all going to be here in Kalamazoo for Impact. And yeah, so get your tickets. Get your tickets to Impact. You can see that either on my website or there's a link to the Eventbrite. Hopefully, you guys took a screenshot of that QR code and get your tickets because it's going to be so much fun. And if you've been waiting for the Healing Humanity movie to come out, you definitely don't want to miss this opportunity. One thing I want to say is, and one of my friends in my carnivore space was saying to me, like, how do we bring in people who have not done carnivore yet? Bring a friend, bring somebody along with you, somebody that is not a carnivore, so that they can experience this metabolic health symposium and see the Healing Humanity documentary. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up tonight. As I said, G is going to be gone for, I think, 2 more weeks, and then she will be back with us. But I appreciate you being here with me tonight for Hey Sister Girl. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye, everybody.